SGC here, and today's movie review is Oz, the Great and Powerful. So pretty much this cast for this movie is amazing, because I mean you got James Franco, Rachel Weisz, Mila Kunis, and and Michelle Williams, who I don't know. But anyway, so the general plot line is pretty much a prequel to Dorothy in the Wizard of Oz. It's talking about Oz showing up in Oz, and he gets set up as king sort of thing, and pretty much lines him up to what happens to him and Dorothy in Dorothy and the Wizard of Oz. So that's pretty much the plot line. So what did I like about this film? Totally, the entire vibe of this film was magical. I watched this in 3D, and I totally think that helped it so much more to bring the magic, because they took advantage of all these in-your-face shots that were like not cheesy to my, I just liked it. I appreciate the 3D-ness of it. Sure, there might seem pretty fake sets because there are a lot of CGI scenes, but I must say that it makes it more magical that this is not a real world, because that's what I've been sick of. Like, all these fantasy films trying to make it real as possible sort of thing, and I love how Oz, the Great and Powerful just doesn't look real, and it builds on that. So my understanding of the whole Oz world is pretty much limited. All I know is there are 14 books, and Dorothy and the Wizard of Oz is the first one, and Marvel has been doing a great adaptation drawn by Scotty Young right now, and it's up to the 7th book, which is Emerald City of Oz, which comes out in July. And I read all the adaptations, and pretty much it is a rich world. So the fact that this movie is doing well enough to grant a sequel, I am thumbs up for it, and hearing that the cast will come back, even more thumbs up. And yeah, I totally look forward to this thing. Sure, I haven't seen Dorothy and the Wizard of Oz, and that might be, what are you doing? Go watch it now. You're a movie critic, you gotta watch the film. But I'm not into musicals, so sorry. It's like why I haven't watched Les Mis. Same reason. So, the acting. James Franco is Oscar Diggs, who is Oz. And he's pretty much your average guy, James Franco performance. I like him as usual, so good stuff on him. Mila Kunis is here. Mila Kunis plays Theodora, and she's like the lovesick girl that just falls in love with Oscar here. And I guess I don't know, it feels like I didn't really buy her love. Like, you really love this guy? Really? Rachel Weisz plays Evanora, and she's like the sister of Mila Kunis' character, and she's a big sister sort of thing, and without spoiling much, I won't say much about her character, but it's awesome to see her on screen again, and I just miss her. Yup. Michelle Williams plays Gilda, the Good Witch, and she is pretty good in the sense of the Good Witch. She's pretty, good looking in the sense where she's fair and kind, and she just gives that vibe with just her looks. And then her lines supplement that, I guess. There are some references, if you can catch them if you watch the film, like there's Scarecrow mentions, the Lion and Tin Man all are mentioned, and even Dorothy's lineage is mentioned, so that's kind of cool stuff there. My favorite stuff is the interaction between, James Franco and, his monkey servant sort of thing, who's named Finley, and the interaction between them is pretty hilarious. Good stuff on the CGI and just lines for Finley. Also the China girl, when all three of these guys are in the scene, it's hilarious, pretty good to watch, and enjoyable. And for all the girls, pretty much, there's a lot of push-up bras, so that's, if that's your thing, good job. You love push-ups bras because their bras are pushed up sort of thing. So, like I said, I don't know much about Dorothy and the Wizard of Oz as a film, but as a story, I think Oz, Great and the Powerful is a great prequel, because it just builds, what you don't know. It sets up the entire world, and especially nowadays, I bet none of the kids really know Dorothy and the Wizard of Oz and the world itself, so this is a great prequel to set it up, just for future adaptations, and it'll be a great one, I think. So what I didn't like about this film probably has to do with the whole, just, cast. There's this one big scene in an Emerald City where it felt very empty because there was no one there. Maybe that's a really tiny tidbit, but I just wish that was more organic. Maybe have a bigger cast than just the 3 women and James Franco, because if there were more major players as people, that would have been nice sort of thing. I mean, sure, Finley and China Girl are there, but it just felt like they were CGI, so maybe I'm complaining for the sake of complaining. And dialogue sometimes just feels kind of flat, the whole love sickness between Mila Kunis and James Franco was sort of I didn't really buy that. Same thing for Michelle Williams and James Franco, their lines were sort of cheesy, on the verge of cheesy, but not cheesy, so very close to it. But I have to say that it is a fantasy sort of thing, and I'm just yeah, this is it's just black and white, so it's pretty, yeah, you can't be too realistic with that. So I give them props for that, and I sort of wave that off as a tiny tidbit. Oz and Great and Powerful, I would recommend it to actually watch it in 3D because it builds off the whole magicness of it. And you know, I'm not a great supporter of 3D, but with this film, I liked it because it felt more, actually felt like you were in the film sort of thing. That's the purpose of 3D, and I think it did it well here. Also, how the film starts off is sort of alludes to the original Dorothy, Wizard of Oz, because I mean, opening sequence is actually played in black and white, and then it transitions into color later on. Also, the film aspect ratio changes, which is kind of cool. Actually, that's really cool because it's sort of like, whoa, this transitioning to the transition scene. So I would totally recommend Oz the Great and Powerful because it's sort of like, Wizard of Oz has always been in our lives, well, my age anyway, but it's never been actually there for me. Like, I know about it, like Dorothy, Tin Man, Lion, Scarecrow, Oz, but that's all I know sort of thing. So the fact that this brings up, like, the prequel, it's a good chance to, like, actually sit down and go, like, oh, this is what happened sort of thing. So yeah, if you're just slightly interested, check it out. This is pretty much the review. That is all. See ya.